Doing this with one hand will be quite a feat. Back in August, I did a quick overview of the Nikon CoolPix P8800. For those of you who are interested in the overall story, this camera used to belong to my uncle. Now I am using it until my Canon PowerShot is officially out of the commission, in the sense that right now it's not in a working state, but my intention is to get it replaced completely. But I wanted to show you this camera and then give you a little bit of an update, because for those of you who have been following my videos, you may have noticed that I've decided on the D7000. We're going to get to that at the end. So, along the top here, you have an LCD screen, shows your battery and other exposure information. You have your shutter release, which has autofocusing. You've got your power switch here. You've got a custom assignable function button here. You got your flash exposure compensation, your standard exposure compensation, a backlight for the LCD screen. Your mode dial. This is one of the gripes that I have with this camera, because it puts your white balance, ISO, and picture quality as dedicated items on the mode dial, which I figure is rather silly. I don't see why they couldn't have just taken the directional pad here and doubled up the items on the directional pad. While we're back here, in addition to the directional pad, you'll see we have a menu key, we have a quick menu key, or a quick preview, trash and self timer, a display key. We have our zoom rocker here. And I apologize if I'm repeating myself. This is primarily for people who may have not seen the quick tour. Your autofocus, auto exposure lock. This button here will change between your EVF and your LCD, which, to be honest, there's not an awful great deal of difference between the two, because the LCD is quite small. On the side here, we've got an autofocus and manual focus, and our vibration reduction image stabilization. Oh, we also have a dial up here. Let's see, can you see that okay? Yeah. We have a dial up here for quick settings, for things like adjusting the exposure compensation, for example. You would want to hold down this button while turning the dial here on the back. In that essence, it's very DSLR-like. Up here at the top, in addition to the display, we've got, and I apologize for scattering around, I'm kind of doing this as I'm thinking, hot shoe and pop-up flash. Now, the pop-up flash cannot be activated manually, unfortunately. Or at least I haven't figured out how to, because I really don't shoot with the flash, to be honest. The lens on this camera, this is it. This is, now understand that this camera is 6 years old, and in the time that we've had it, you know, obviously it may have a little bit of wear and tear, and maybe the lens could use a little bit of cleaning, but otherwise, this is a 10 times optical zoom. You can take a look here on this side of the camera. We have our various features. You can see the aperture is 2.8 to 5.2, 8 megapixels. It is a 35 to 350 millimeter zoom. We've got a movie mode here, 1.2 frames per second. Is that it? Oh, I'm sorry, 1.2 macro. We have movie mode, and I don't know what the heck that is in between the movie mode and the zoom information. I can't make that out. Let's see. What is that? Hang on a second. Oh. That's your vibration reduction facility, which I demonstrated earlier. This door here on the side is your compact flash memory slot, which I'm not about to remove the card now because currently it's being read. On the bottom here, let's see if you can see that. Yeah, it's hard to see, but this is your battery compartment. Now then, as far as how this performs, keep in mind this is 8 megapixels, which nowadays belongs on a high-end cell phone. Rumor is even that it may end up in the next iPhone. Come on, focus. There we go. So let's go ahead and take a look at some photo examples as soon as I can get the screen out here. Oops. Now, I wasn't kidding when I was talking about the screen size. The screen is a 1.5-inch screen. It is very, very small. And to be completely honest, I don't like it. After having shot with my Canon for the last 3 years, going back to something this small is just, it's crazy. That extra inch really makes a difference. And in fact, the one I'm looking at is going to be at least a 3-inch screen next time. So anyway, you can see here we have a picture of a tree. And if we zoom in, I'd say it did a pretty good job. It did an okay job. If we rotate, as soon as I figure out, okay, I think that's about it. Yeah. If we rotate the dial here, we can get some exposure information. And we also have a live histogram. And our focusing points. This had a 9-point autofocusing system. This is sort of a low light picture of my camera, which I know that on this camera it may not look all that hot, but that's the other thing I don't like about this screen. It is very low resolution, and as a result, it's hard for me to see how photos come out sometimes. I have to wait to blow them up on my computer to see whether or not they are any good. I mean, overall I can get a general idea, but to get the details, I pretty much have to blow it up. This is a camera bag that came with this camera. This is a test of low light performance, which obviously this being a Superzoom with a point-and-shoot sensor, 6 years old, you can't expect it to, work miracles. But I think overall it did an okay job. I also, let's see, what else do I have? This picture is of my friend's guide dog. And as you can see, I think this one it did a very good job in. This photo is of my friend's. The one on the left is my girlfriend, and we were at the mall together for a sort of like the day before class type thing. Note to self: never go to the mall the Saturday before school starts. It was crowded. This is another shot of the two of them. The one issue that I had with setting this, if we take a look at if we go back to this one, and let's see, where's my white balance settings? Here we are. The reason I set it to sunny was because I wasn't sure what to do because you've got a mixture of both natural light and artificial from within, so I couldn't just select fluorescent lighting. So, to be honest, and and understand this camera is not as advanced as today's cameras, there was no way to go in and manually set the white balance. So, as a result, this shot, I probably should have thrown it onto fluorescent, but it wasn't until after I took the shot, and maybe about a day or so later, to be honest, that I realized that I left the white balance where I did, so that was my mistake. But overall, in good lighting, I'd say the camera does a good job. In low lighting, however, excuse me while I get to a better shot of low light. Give me just a second. Oops. There we go. Here we are. Perfect. Okay. So I wanted to try to find a shot where people that didn't want to end up being in the photo wouldn't be. So as you can see, this shot I think turned out okay. But again, because of the way the screen works, it was hard for me to really pick out and see how good it was until I blew it up. But it does a pretty good job even in low lighting. Let me see. Yeah, I remembered that time to switch the white balance over to incandescent, and I have my I believe I was on shutter priority and set it to about a 1/15 of a second. So overall, I'd say this camera, given its age, is, I would say, a good 8 out of 10. Really nice for daylight conditions. However, if you were to throw this into the nighttime, don't even bother. The other gripe that I have with this camera is the small screen. So there's that. There was also the strange options on the mode dial. I never showed you. This here, you have your USB and TV output. The USB and the TV output, however, is only for composite. They didn't have HDMI. You know, the HD wasn't really big back in 2005, 2006. The only other problem that I have with this camera is, for the time, this was extremely expensive. It was $1,000. I actually looked it up. It was $1,000, and it I'd say for the time it was state of the art, but overall, again, daytime, yay. Nighttime, nay, unless you got plenty of light. This is definitely, I mean, this is an advanced camera for a point and shoot for a super zoom, but obviously it goes without saying this is no DSLR, so don't. It may function like one, but it doesn't perform like one. So yeah. Thank you for watching. Comments are welcome, and have a nice day.